Better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Alfred Lord Tennyson. What's up, everyone? Dustin Gruss, the greatness facilitator, here with another life lesson video. While many see my opening quote as something quite cliche, something you just tell someone to make them feel better when they've had a relationship end or lost a loved one, it can actually be one of the hardest things to hear when you're in your time of grief. But does it make it less true? No, absolutely not. Truth is, when someone is in a stage of grief, there's not really much you can say or do for them that will make them feel better. You might be able to make them laugh or distract them momentarily, but the greatest healer is time. And honestly, we need to feel our grief and be able to express it and work through it. So if you're not sure what to do for a friend or loved one that just experienced loss, just be there for them. Know that they might not say anything, they might cry, or they might just sit there. Eventually, they might talk, but on their time and when they're ready. But don't feel like you need to say or do anything other than just be there for them. Even professional paid counselors know this and will let their patients sit there in complete silence or even encourage them to cry and let it out. Not because, what do they care? They're making good money whether you talk or not. But because they know you need to experience your emotions for you to be able to move forward. How do I know this? Because I was the one crying in my counselor's office on Friday. If you're unaware, my wife and I were told we'd be unable to bear our own children in January of 2017, just about 7 months into our marriage. This was a huge blow to us, and it took us over a year and a half to really come to terms with it. Almost 2 years to the day after our childless diagnosis, we began licensing courses to become foster parents. We knew we had love to give, and we had a house we bought when we were first married with the idea of having children in it. And we felt called to love on and protect whatever children or babies that came into our lives who were in need of a healthy and stable start. 6 months later, on June 21st, 2019, we were called with the news that we received our fostering license. Overcome with emotion and excitement, they caught us off guard 30 minutes later when they called us to ask if we'd take our first placement of a sibling set, even though we only applied for the ability to foster one child at a time. Not wanting to separate family, and again caught off guard, we agreed. The next 7 weeks were some of the most difficult days of our lives and of our early marriage, and some of the most rewarding. To have 2 children in need come into our home and turn our world upside down and put us through stretches of sleep deprivation and frustration, lose our sense of self and question our abilities because of a loss of any time to ourselves, and our worrying about their safety as we were new parents, as well as wondering, how the hell did they get poop up there? Yeah, those were the difficult days. But then there was the smiles and the giggles, the bashfulness when you tell them, I love you. The way our family and friends loved on them, and the way they accepted and blossomed with that love. The way they came to us, arms raised, ready to be picked up, whether it was at daycare, one of us getting home, or one of us coming out of the dugout after softball hitting a home run for them. The moments of peace and stillness when they'd fall asleep on our chest, those were the most rewarding and unforgettable. 7 weeks of difficulty, but also 7 weeks of love and joy. And then, bittersweet heartbreak. Our first 2 went back to other members of their family, which, as a foster parent, is the goal all along: family reunification. Many people constantly say to us, oh, I couldn't do that. I'd get too attached. That'd be too hard. Which brings me back to Alfred Lord Tennyson's quote, better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Some people think it's cliche, and some people don't like the quote because they think you should avoid pain or they're afraid of being hurt. I think it's a way to live life. Yes, we were attached to those kids. While we haven't seen or heard from them since they left our home, we think about and pray for them every day. We provided them a safe home, a place to feel loved, and build a firm foundation on which they could develop who they were going to be. They made us parents and allowed us to feel emotions and use gifts and talents that would have otherwise laid dormant within us. While we had moments of restlessness, we now have memories that will stay with us forever. My counselor let me openly weep because she could tell I hadn't allowed myself to feel the grief of these two kids that I loved with a part of my heart that I never thought I was going to be able to use. She allowed me to process what I'd stuffed down and away, much like what we did with their stuff after they left our home, tossing it all in the nursery and shutting the door. That is until almost a month later when we decided it was time to open our home to a new placement. We sorted the clothes and toys in the room, but I never sorted my feelings. We took our new placement in, and he has a whole new piece of my heart and has been with us for some time now. But there were times when I still would get emotional about the other two, and I'd stuff it down. Until this past Friday, months later. I let myself feel the pain that came with the loss of a loved one, or two in this case. And now, I have memories. I have thoughts of love. I have appreciation for the time we were in each other's lives. I have hope that they're doing well because of the love we gave to them at such a crucial time in their lives. If we hadn't loved and lost, sure, my wife and I would be okay. But we'd be going through life never getting to experience everything that comes with being a parent. The pain sucks, but I couldn't fathom not having the memories I have of those two kids. Or the memories we're making with the one at home now. We don't know what the future holds for him and how long he'll be with us. But we're going to love on him every day. We're going to get attached. Well, more attached. 1 Corinthians 13:13 says, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." If the greatest thing is love, how could you not want to risk the pain to feel love? My mom once described love to me as a fire. Sometimes we love so hard, so freely and intensely that we get too close to the fire and we might get burned. But if we let the fear of getting burned keep us from approaching the fire, we'll always be cold and never feel the warmth and comfort that comes with love. Whether it's foster kids, a potential new budding relationship, a friend moving away, or someone who you know is terminally ill, don't let the fear of getting burned keep you from feeling the warmth of love. Don't let it keep you from getting attached. Sure, saying goodbye will hurt, but the memories and lessons will stay with you and often be the thing that carries us through some of the other hard days to come. The greatest of these is love. If you love fearlessly, I assure you, even in hard times, because of love, you will be able to move forward and step up to greatness.